everyone, and welcome to another episode of Therapeutic Madness. I am your host, Mindy Vincent, and with me, as always, is my co-host.
That's me.
Justin Ariola. I like to sing for people as often as possible. And today we have a super special guest and a very cool guest. This is my friend, Aimee Altizer. Aimee, say hello.
Hello.
We're still sort of in the thing of coronavirus, and so that's why we have to Zoom Aimee in, because I'm still scared to be around people.
Corona.
Yeah. Aimee, I'm sorry. You know I love you, and I'd love to see you in person and hug you. But I'm afraid of people. Huh?
You make the best masks, so.
That's true. That's true. That is true. And that was a God thing. That was a God thing.
That was
God
awesome.
has a great sense of humor. A great sense of humor, because he is the one, or she, or whatever, something bigger than me made that go crazy. And it changed my whole life. It changed our whole organization's life. It's nuts. Wow. So Aimee, enough about masks. How are you? Tell us about you. You and Justin remember each other from when you met at the recovery event, do you not? Or do you? Mm-hmm. Well, now you're introduced anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's only about this big, though, on my screen. So.
Yeah, so just slightly larger than real life.
Yeah.
Slightly larger than real life.
Well, he's like the Indian in the cover.
I'm gonna save that, though. He's only about this big.
Right?
I'm gonna loop that in.
It's just a small man.
Thanks, Aimee.
So, Aimee, I'm so glad you're on today. And Aimee is somebody that I think is one of the most interesting women in the world. And every time I introduce Aimee to somebody, one of the first things I ask her is, Aimee, tell them what your degrees are in. So, Aimee,
I also heard the first time.
Yes, because it's the most fascinating thing I've ever heard about someone. I'm sorry, I have a hair. It keeps going in my eyes, so I'm not weird. I'm just like hairy.
Well,
so anyway, so Aimee, take it away.
Well, thank you. Well, my name is Aimee Altizer, and I also happen to be an Episcopal priest, in addition to probably pastry chef and maybe a terror of making change in the world. My degrees are in feminist liberation theologies, and it's basically about liberation and freedom. And so that's what I spend my time doing, is liberating and freeing. And if not myself, hopefully I can help at least create some more space for others. So that's what I do. That's who I am.
So you've been busy lately then.
Yeah.
Now's a good time for that.
Yes, it is.
Give you a hard time about, what are you going to use that degree for? Well, the world's going to blow up and I'm going to use it to change it.
Right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Are you like a practicing priest, Aimee?
I can practice anytime I want.
Well, I mean, I don't know how it works. I grew up Mormon, so I don't know. Like,
I only practice on one day in the weekend, but
I'm like, I don't know. Like, do you have one of those suits too? Like, do you wear one of the collars and stuff? That's
really?
so
I do.
cool.
I have one. I have a few, actually.
Next time you're on the podcast, will you wear one? Or is that an abomination? I don't know. These are real questions, and you're my friend, so I feel like I can ask you.
You definitely can ask me, and I can wear it any time and any place I want to, which has always started some fascinating conversations. But I don't lead a parish or a church. That's not what I do full time. So the classic idea of what you have in culture of a priest going someplace on a Sunday morning in their getup, doing their little thing, is not what I do every week. I can do it. I do it on occasion, sometimes special occasion. But every day of the week, I am with a group of awesome people and lead Flourish Bakery. And so really, honestly, that's my parish. That's my people. That's like my AK church, if you had one. So,
yeah.
And so you're going to tell us about Flourish Bakery, but first I have to tell people. So I first met Aimee working at Aqua Recovery up in Midway. She was the chef up there, and oh my God, Aimee's such a good chef. Oh my God. Aimee's an amazing chef, so you should know that. If you ever have the opportunity to eat her food, you should. And so anyway, when Aimee and I worked there, she was telling me about how she wanted to, or she had started, or you were getting ready to start your nonprofit, and its major name is Unshackled, right? Is Flourish Bakery like a, explain that to us and tell us about the mission. I mean, this is what made me just love Aimee, because not only does she have this crazy degree of things I didn't think could be mixed together at all, but they do, but also because of where her heart is and the population of people that she wants to help, you know? So,
so the organization,
Justin and I are tender about these people.
My favorite. Okay, so we launched 3 years ago in 2017 as Unshackled, which is the parent umbrella company. And the bakery, Flourish Bakery, is the first social enterprise underneath that parent nonprofit umbrella. We became—
Tell friends what a social enterprise is, because not everybody knows what social enterprise is.
Awesome, thanks.
Amy's one of the smartest people I know, just an FYI. If we have viewers that need definitions of any words she uses, just drop them below in the links. We'll send the definitions back.
Okay. The social enterprise is the idea that we can employ individuals in a job skills, life skills training program, that the income from the products that they make, that we make and sell via like farmers markets, online. We have an awesome food truck with a really cool wrap on it and stuff of tattoo art. It's my favorite part of what we do, I think, sometimes. And all that money—
tattoos out of the van? No.
You know, social enterprise, second opportunity, right?
I'm thinking so. I mean, if there's tattoo art on the van, I thought, well, maybe, or on the truck, you know, maybe you would like to throw some tattoos in there.
Get a pastry, get a tattoo.
Correct.
Well,
she's like that.
So we take the money from the social enterprise and we put it back into the organization. So the organization has a part of its own generated income to support its growth and stability. And so that's why it's a social enterprise, because it's about social justice work. It's putting the money back into the organization's growth and support of life skills and job skills training. So if we can make a tattoo, a mobile tattoo vehicle out of that, then that could be another social enterprise too. Why not? I mean, we all love it. We all love it.
And you know what's
so
funny?
The gist of this, though, is that you guys have this bakery, and the life skill training stuff is you're helping to, I guess, re-educate people that are coming out of a institutionalized system, basically. Like, so you're taking people that were incarcerated and giving them on-the-job training for this type of stuff.
Yeah. So, excuse me. So when Mindy mentioned we met working in residential recovery, I noticed was consistent revolving doors. People would leave, they'd come back, or they'd leave, and you'd find out that they'd OD'd, or we're back out using. And I thought, you know, the challenge is when you leave, you don't have a place to go a lot of the time. Society's not welcoming. We don't have resources. A lot of bridges have been burned. Opportunities aren't open. And so I think, what, we can fix that problem. It's not that hard. We just have to create a space, a place where individuals can become a part of a community again and practice what they've learned in residential with their skills and recovery and behavioral modification practices in a real life context where we all practice and live that life together. So there's individuals who are in long-term recovery working within Flourish and offering opportunity and training and support and peer mentoring to individuals who are early and new in recovery, which would be our interns. Our interns are given the opportunity for 1 year, a whole 12 months of job training on the job. They get paid while they are on the job every day, and then that money goes back to pay their rent. They pay their own electrical bill, phone bill, buy food at the grocery store, just like any of the rest of us, put gas in their car. So there's not
they live in a special housing place though, Aimee, or no? Like, because when you say then they use that money to pay their rent, are they in some type of housing that you guys support, or they just wherever they are?
No, someday maybe we'll have that, but we're young and scrappy.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, you've gone way further than I thought. Like, I mean, because when the last time I even got to see you and talk to you about Flourish, it was when you only had interns. Like, the people who are your, you know, your leaders and mentors now are people who were like the interns back then. So like, it's so exciting to hear how far you've come, you know, there's
I
a lot
know.
you're still in. So be prepared for that.
It's
You've got
so
that.
exciting. It's so exciting.
It is so exciting. You've like gone through an entire cycle, like a generation.
Yes, we have. So last year, one of the things that we did was, because the bakery is so well known, we went ahead and changed the parent nonprofit to Flourish Ventures, because it just made sense to keep the Flourish name at all the levels. So now it's just Flourish, and we go by Flourish. And
it's actually kind of more positive, because like, it's great to be unshackled, but that doesn't feel like you're going somewhere into Flourish.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So we have been flourishing for the past 3 years. We've got graduates who are back working full time as production and operation director. We have individuals who are on staff. We try to honor that if a position can be filled by someone who's applying, who's actively living a life of recovery, then we want to employ that person, because that is the strength of the organization, and that's the cause of what we exist for, is to provide that space. And that's it in a nutshell. And so that's where we're at.
And that is, that's part of your story. That's really cool that that's your focus on.
I love it. What are the requirements for somebody to be in your program?
Well, we look for individuals who apply from backgrounds of substance use and or incarceration. Pretty much substance use will generally land you a record, so you can generally check both boxes. And
Well, if you're doing it right, you will.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But go on.
So that's what we exist for. That's where the preference is in hiring practices across the board, no matter what the position is. Someone who's looking to be employed in a space that serves and gives back, to offering opportunity to those who normally would be shut out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you guys do outreach currently to like the jails or the prison? Like, do you kind of reach out and say, hey, if you guys have somebody who's kind of fits this mold, we'd love to have referrals? Or do you, like, how do you find the people that are looking for you, or does everybody just hear about you and find you?
We generally end up with more applications than we can hire. And that is, I mean, it kind of breaks my heart, because I wish we could hire everybody. But we're just not that big yet. We will be someday.
That is correct. The word is yet.
The
word is
yet. That's right. So we get a lot of applications from individuals who are in residential or outpatient treatment, probably at a point where they're ready to transition and start blending a job into their treatment program. And we also get applications directly from the prison. We're in contact and work with the head chef, who's an instructor down there in their program. His name is Mike. And
at the prison?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
And so we get applications from individuals who are still incarcerated. Like, they're asking about information, helping to try to plan their future when they get out. And so it's not hard to find applicants, I will be honest.
That's great.
It is hard to find enough space to employ everyone, and the funding fast enough to offer the opportunity to everyone who deserves it.
Yeah. That's how you know you're doing something right. Is that you've got more applications than you can take.
That's true.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And that you've grown so much in 3 years. Because so when you started Flourish, you started, like, how did you even like get it going, and where do you and did you get your funding from? I've seen pictures of you on Facebook with those big ass checks and shit all, you know. And my God, Aimee knows some big ballers, you know. So how did you get that going? And I mean, because really from a nonprofit administration standpoint, what you've done is just, it's amazing. I'm so proud of you, and it's really outstanding, and it's not something that very many people can do, for sure.
Tell you what, Mindy, that is the hardest part of the job. The hardest
it is.
Isn't therapeutic.
Oh, I got you.
Part isn't baking. The hardest part.
Baking?
That's not the hardest part. It's the.
Oh, I thought you just said it was a baking. I said horse shit. Aimee, like, no, it isn't. No. That's the fun part of the job.
The hard part isn't even teaching math, because math, there's a lot of baking and chemistry, and in baking, there's a lot of chemistry and math. That's not the hardest part. Those are actually the most rewarding and joyful parts of the job. The hardest part is the administrative nonprofit piece of that. And to get that going, actually, Mindy, it was pretty damn magical. So I was moving to the Valley, Salt Lake, that's where I live, out of a old cabin up in the hills in Midway. It was infested with mice until I got a cat, and just, one of those really old rickety cabins up there, but I was loving it. But
you still have the cat?
Still have the cat. He's in retirement. Yeah.
He's living the good life now.
Everybody knows how I feel about animals. Got to make sure
we're short on mice here, so he's just in retirement now.
Good for him. He can sit around in the lounge.
Yeah.
He's surprised cats can find though.
He's a sweet boy. So I moved to the Valley because I knew that it was time. It was time that we needed to get this off the ground, and I had to take it seriously, and I couldn't do that in the Valley from as far away as Hebrew Midway. And I just couldn't handle commuting and doing the hours I knew it was going to take. So I moved. As I was moving, I posted on Facebook that I needed a refrigerator. Lo and behold, someone I hadn't hooked up with in a while messaged me back and said that, they had a refrigerator in their garage that they needed to get rid of. Stop on by. And so I stopped by with the moving truck on my way down to the Valley and starting to load up this refrigerator, and was just telling her, about what was going on, and that we were just getting ready to do this. I knew it was time. Wasn't sure exactly how it was going to happen, but this was the vision. The vision was to provide a place for people to rehabilitate life and press the reset button, start again with a clean slate. And that was in October-ish. It was October, probably 4 years ago almost. And she messaged me on the eve of the inauguration in the middle of a Sundance at like 11 o'clock at night. And it was a wicked snowstorm like 4 years ago. It was pretty solid. And said that she wanted to help in a real way. Well, I didn't know exactly what that meant, but she meant that she wanted to offer financial start. And so we got together, talked, she wrote a check, and gifted us a lawyer to start our paperwork process. And boom, by the spring of 2017, we were
so cool. That's so cool. You know what's funny when you say,
and scary.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I'm not talking about this anymore. I'm doing it.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's how you know that you're in concert with the universe. It's when that's when I know that I'm walking right along the path that God has laid out for me, because everything just comes so easy to me. And It's funny you talked about it being a wicked winter in 2016, because that's the year I started UHRC.
Yep.
And I had to do the syringe exchange. I did the syringe exchange down on the block every Monday and Thursday. And every Monday and Thursday it snowed. Yeah. Every Monday and Thursday for the whole freaking winter. Dude, me and my volunteers, Aldo and Damon, we were always out there freezing in the snow. Just I was like, that's funny. I remember the winter of 2016, which is funny because I don't remember the year of anything ever, certainly not the winter, but that one I do. So then it just took off. Sorry,
I swore. I'm not supposed to swear.
I swear all the
swear.
Okay. I swear all the Aimee, please. You've been
well,
it's an audio a priest, so you can forgive yourself.
So, you know how I would do that all fucking day.
I'd take a couple of those blessings too, just in case.
Send them down. Aimee has the best sense of humor of any priest I've ever met too.
I love it.
So yeah, that was a year.
Huh?
It was a year. What a great year. What a fucking great year. Look at that. You and I started some really powerful shit that year.
Yeah, that we talked about at Aqua. And and we were like, you know what? We have to change these systems. We have to change, this isn't working. And I remember just being so blown away that a woman, of the cloth would want to help people, because, criminals are people like me. The people that come to your program and get internships there, those are people just like me. And I thought, what a wonderful human being that she wants to love people like me, which we are wonderful, lovely people. And people should stop hating on people who've had histories, right?
Yeah.
But but you're right. A lot of people don't. And as a convicted felon, you can't get a job. I was a waitress for 17 years and I'm the best waitress in the world. And I'm actually willing to challenge anybody, anytime, in any situation.
Hear that, waitresses? The waitress
Bring it,
off.
bring it. I will run circles around other servers. So anyway.
I do not doubt this, not one bit.
It's true. I'm a people person. I'm so So I'm the world's greatest server, and I could not get a job serving. Like, I got out of treatment myself at the Haven, or actually, I don't even think it was. Maybe it was right. No, it wasn't right out of the Haven. It was a time that I was recovering though, and I couldn't get a job. And that would still be true today if I went in and applied for jobs in restaurants. If I put yes on the application that I'm a convicted felon, I can't even get an interview. Yeah. And then I don't get the job. But if I put no, I get the interview. I always get offered the job in the interview. And then I just have to risk and see if they're a company that runs background checks or not. And if they run a background check, then I have to tell them that I lied, but I had to lie because they wouldn't have given me an opportunity. And then usually the response is, well, you're not going to pass a background check. So thank you for your time. You know, so, and that's sad, because how do you take care of your family or rebuild a life when you can't even make a living or take care of yourself or provide, you know, shelter for yourself or even get food? And when nobody will give you a chance, when people are like, oh, you're a convicted felon. Oh, it's like, you don't even know what my felony is for.
Yeah.
You don't even know, you know, I'm not a pedophile. Yeah. You know, it's like people don't care. And it's interesting because when you have a history of substance abuse, people tend to not like that either, you know. So it always impressed me that you have this passion for helping a population of people that not everybody wants to help, but certainly not a population you came from, you know.
Actually, that's my family. So.
Aha! That's why. Tell us.
Yeah. My extended family has a lot of substance use. I don't know if my cousin's out right now. He was really recently. Meth and coke are the DOCs in my family. We like those. We like to go a little faster.
Well, we've all got shit to do, Aimee.
We do. I got shit to do.
Right. We got to be taking something seriously here.
Yeah. And so I know it ran in my family. I didn't understand it when I was younger. And I did understand, though, that there was shame and that there was ostracization that happened around that. And that when we do that, we push people back into an underground economy, and it kills people. It kills us.
Yeah, so,
I mean, how can you blame someone for returning to an underground economy when it's the only opportunity that they have? Really? Yeah. You know? I mean, one of the things that we face so often right now is we don't, if you check the box, you're probably the most qualified applicant for the job with Flourish. So nice. You check the box, we ask, why are you interested in working here? How did you hear about us? But our application is very, very different, and we designed it that way on purpose. If you look at our website, flourishslc.org, the application is extremely non-standard. We don't ask where you live, because technically that's illegal. I shouldn't be able to Google your address and decide whether or not I want to hire you based upon where you live. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right? Profile.
Huh. That's wild.
So,
well, but also, like, when you're serving somebody who is homeless, experiencing homelessness, and they don't have an address to put on there, like, I've been in that position where I was like, okay, well, I'll just use my dad's address. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yep. And how stigmatizing that is. And I'm a pretty strong person, but some people, maybe that would deter them from even filling out anything, because they're like, well, I don't have the information to put on there.
Yeah, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to have a job. So
they don't have the additional family.
So one of the things that our application asks isn't like, classic. Like, you can buy it like probably down at the office supply store, a sheet of applications that come in a little stack or something. And they all say, what date to what date, job and duties. Why did you leave?
Yeah, and that section screws people that have a history of things.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, oh, there's this gap on your resume.
Yeah.
What is this?
I know people who put things like that they were doing in prison, and like will put basically that they worked for the prison,
Yeah.
So they don't have a gap. Dead
Well,
serious.
technically they did. They're not lying. They did work.
Correct. Yes, it's true. Because there's lots of things like you could be getting an education. There's lots of things you can be doing in prison, you know, but you have to know how to put that stuff on your resume in order for it to like work for you because of those gap things. So finish telling us about your application.
So the application just basically asks you to tell us about experiences in your life that were transformative. I want to know. And some people choose to write down the classic job application stuff. Well, I worked, you know, as a nurse, or I worked as a laborer, or I worked for a temp company, yada, yada, yada. But then some people get into really amazing stuff, like, you know, they were in an accident or lost a child or an experience of using that was a really transformative and important moment in their life. And that's what they choose to write about. And you know, they're ready. They're ready for this job. You know, they're ready.
That makes for far better and more interesting reading than, you know, I was a laborer for a tree company from 2002 to 2003.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's about story. Story is everything. It's our identity. It's how we see ourselves. It's how the world sees us, and how we tell that story, how we share that story, how we're empowered by that story. And empowered is the really important part of that. That is the transformative experience. And that's why we exist. I really don't care if you ever bake another cookie again once you leave Flourish Bakery. I don't give a shit. I really don't. What I do care about is that you took the tools that were there for you and made something you wanted out of it for your life. So if you decide to go back to school, or you decide to, I don't know, do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter what job. I hope you find your passion and yourself. That's the two things that we're looking for. Find yourself and find your passion, because that, I think, is the most empowering experience we can have in our lives that will keep us going until the day we die. And that gives us our worth and makes the world stand up and listen.
God, I love all of that so much.
I love that too, because just from my, you know, my baking, I'm pretty good in the kitchen, but baking is not my best. I can cook up some mean meals, but baking, no. But like thinking about my first cookie and my 100th cookie, right, and how that improves, and kind of applying that to like the people that you see coming in, like the fresh into this new environment, and they're like, oh, I'm in this kitchen and I've got to have these interpersonal relationships, and I've got to deal with stress in the kitchen, you know, meeting deadlines for certain things. I'm sure all of that, it's like a really good construct for like dealing with everything in life, right? That's awesome.
It is.
But also in a loving, recovering environment, right?
Yes.
Like other people who understand the stresses of like, yeah, I remember when I was in drug court, you know, because like, for instance, somebody who's in drug court, they have all sorts of things that they have to do.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of requirements, and drug court could give two shits about your job, about, you know, well, I mean, they do care, but they don't. They're like, we come first, period. And that can be really hard, and it can be frustrating to deal with probation or parole, and you're around a bunch of people who understand that. You know, that you don't have to hide the fact that you're on probation, because people are like, you're on probation? What? And it's like, bitch, we're all on probation up in here. Some of us have the same PO. Huh? No.
Yeah, it's true.
That's serious. That's true.
You
So
know,
when your friend made that donation and like got you the seed money, like what happened from there? Like how many people were you able to bring on? And because didn't it first start like you had only interns, right? So then your first set went through, like, tell me what happened from there and what it looks like now. What does an internship look like?
Okay, so you're right. That first piece, it got us off the ground. We threw our first dining event like once, like what? Shit, how many? Like it was like a few weeks. So you'll appreciate this, having worked in culinary. We decided that we needed to do a fundraiser, and we needed to do it now. And so it was like
Iron thoughts.
It was like September, and we said, great, we're throwing a fundraiser in like, I don't know, 4 weeks or something like that. And just, you know, went bonkers, got the space, got friends to help, you know, produced the food for this, got everything put together, worked our asses off. It was so much hard work to do your own party. And raise more money. We turned that investment into a little bit more money. And then randomly, one of the people I knew who was with Salt Lake Community College, he was the advisor to the president on diversity at the time. And I just was having a cup of coffee with him one day, and I said, so you don't happen to know of any available kitchens, do you? Last person who you'd expect to think would know of an available kitchen. But, when you're desperate, you'll ask anybody for anything to get what you need.
Yeah.
So I just do you happen to say, I know that that's not your area of work, but do you just happen to? Lo and behold, that's where the fucking kitchen came from. Salt Lake Community College. Had an empty.
Hey, Ray, we have to pause right there because guess what? I got signaled to take a break. I knew we were supposed to, but there's so many exciting things about this whole story that I'm all enthralled, and I thought, well, we can wait a minute. They just signaled me to take a break.
Right.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to come right back at Salt Lake Community College.
Okay, there we go.
The kitchen that came from Salt Lake Community College.
That's right. Boom. So hello, everybody. Welcome back to Therapeutic Madness. We're still here with our friend Aimee from Flourish Bakery, and we had to go on a quick break. But when we left, she had just found the fucking kitchen. Where's the kitchen, Aimee?
So Salt Lake Community College had this glorious kitchen, the likes of which you've never seen. I always expect when somebody has an available kitchen that it is a complete shithole, because that's
right.
Is what's available.
We're talking about Big Slick. If you don't live here in Utah, then you don't know that that's Big Slick we're talking about. It's our community college. I went there.
Yeah, it's a great school.
It is a great school.
They had this huge, shiny, new kitchen. It looked like a freaking spaceship. And I'm like, you're joking. This is not the kitchen. Yeah, this far exceeds my expectations by a million years.
Ashton Kutcher comes out, you're on Punk, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And so, no, it was real. And so we started up with 5 interns and January 2nd in 2018. And off we went. And 5 interns turned into some graduates, turned into a lot of learning for everybody on all sides about building a program and what a program needed. And one of our graduates, like I said, is back working for us as a production and operations director, and does a fabulous job, very driven. And
who is that?
AJ.
Is it AJ?
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
AJ is cool as shit, and he is an incredible shiny example of recovery, and he represents Flourish Bakery so well.
He does. He just does everything he possibly can to see the future become a possibility for other individuals. And that's part of what we do. And so
I love that.
Every day. So
I love that.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So
he's actually up for his first annual review. We're in the process of that right now. He's been in his job as leadership and management, full on salary for a year already.
Congratulations, AJ.
Good job, AJ. But you're where you better be on your A game.
I hate review.
So that's what's been going on now. Last fall, we found out that the kitchen was no longer available to us. And of course, my first thought was, oh my God, what did we do? Did somebody say something, do something?
Yeah.
Right.
The things that we talk about at work, people don't talk about generally in daily life ever, let alone at work. So I'm like, oh shit, what did we do?
Well, I do, but then I get regularly surprised by the audiences around me and how they don't appreciate the things that people like us talk about all day.
I know.
It's a shame. It's a shame because they're missing out on a lot of really good stories.
They're missing out on life.
Right? And life includes some wild, hilarious, crazy stories.
Yeah, it does.
And if it doesn't, you missed it.
I know. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, there went the boat.
So I thought, oh my God, we did something wrong. Well, come to find out, they just subleased the whole culinary, food services program to an outside vendor because they didn't want to do any of their own food at the school anymore. And that contract meant complete and utter use of all kitchen facilities on every single campus. So,
Oh,
God, you know, it wasn't something we did, but then, fuck, we're out of a kitchen. And
right.
we needed to move out like within 2 months, like actually 6 weeks. I did bargain and got us a few more weeks after the new year so that at least people could not need to move before Christmas. But
Yeah.
then we had to move. And
At the time, what were you making though? Really quick, like were you like
pies, Thanksgiving
pies, and like where do you sell the pies?
Well, you can buy pie online. You can buy pie at the truck. You can buy pie if you call it up.
Okay.
And
Okay. So you're
actually
baking out with it, taking it out somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. So on the 31st of July, we'll be back at the Liberty Park Farmers Market that evening, and pretty much every evening throughout the rest of the summer at the Liberty Park Market, and we will definitely have pie. And it's
So
31st of July.
And every
people go to the farmers market.
Yep.
Get some pie.
And every what day of the week after?
If it's Fridays, the Liberty Park is a Friday night farmers market.
Okay, and wear your masks, people.
Yeah. So the 31st of July forward, we'll be there pretty much for the rest of the season. Tomorrow night, the truck is out. And we've expanded things, you know, as we do. We are ambitious. And
You are ambitious.
Do you have all of that online? So if people want to know where you're at.
Yeah. Salt Lake Community. So after we left Salt Lake Community College, everything pretty much did move online, and that's at our website, Flourish, FLOURISHSLC.org, like saltlakecity.org. And all the stuff is there, menus and all kinds of cool shit.
So at the time you're baking pies,
yeah,
and they're booting you out of the kitchen that God so miraculously brought to you.
Yeah. And then you have that argument, you know, with your higher power, like,
yeah.
Seriously?
What did I do?
That's funny when I immediately am like, what do you have in store for me? Because God's been so good to me. The universe is crazy good to me. I can't even talk shit. I have greater blessings than I've ever met.
Well, I love that we approach that from two different sides of the coin.
Yeah. Yeah, when something happens to me, I'm like, I might be disappointed, but I know for sure. I'm like, you know, God's got something great coming. God never says no, only wait. I have something better.
Yeah,
and
there's been a lot of weight. There's been a lot of weight. I am not a very patient woman. There's been a lot of weight.
You know what? And another one of these crazy quips from, you know, from being in recovery, but God doesn't work on your time, but he's always on time. And that's true too, you know? Yeah. So tell us what happened. So you're on this deadline.
Yeah, so we get out all of our Thanksgiving pies and Christmas stuff, and we had to move in January, and we became nomadic and homeless as an organization.
I love you use the word nomadic. See, that's the shit I'm talking about. Nomad. Every time I hear the word nomad, I think of motorcycle clubs, and then here's the priest Aimee. Me and the Flourish Bakery were nomadic.
Well,
yeah, you little nomads. So you're out on your little homeless food truck selling pies.
Yeah, so we were nomadic for a little while there, and we landed a shared kitchen space. We share the adolescent house right now with Odyssey. They allowed us to come and crash on their couch, and the minute that they said they'll come on and, you know, we'll let you use the space, we all looked at each other and we said, we can't become that cousin that shows up and buys you a plant and just wants to crash on your couch and like moves in and never leaves. And you wonder how to have that difficult conversation.
It was supposed to be a transition.
It was supposed to be a weekend. Who knows? You know, that.
Yeah.
And they've been very gracious.
Okay.
Very gracious. And so we haven't yet bought them a plant, but we're about ready to buy them a picnic table.
Make it a nice picnic table.
Yeah. So we're like, the market was tight. Getting a kitchen space in pre-COVID Salt Lake City was almost impossible. I mean, unless you were really wealthy. And that's not nonprofit. So the reality was doors were pretty tightly closed. And so COVID hits, things are starting to pop open.
Yeah, you got some kitchen spaces out there now.
Yeah, we're looking at a few spaces right now. And it's that thing where you said, you know, you always wait. You say, it's just like that. It's that wait. It's that wait. There's something great coming. Well, I'm that impatient one that goes, come on, man. It's time now. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, let's go. We got shit we got to do. Like, pies are coming again. It's almost Thanksgiving. So.
Yeah.
Say, for God's sake, it's July.
Right?
We gotta start making these pies.
It's so funny.
I'm a prepper. So.
Right. Well, you got to be prepared. And Thanksgiving's a big holiday.
So you're probably
It is,
able to
it
find
is.
good kitchen spaces for a deal right now.
We're working on that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And, you know, the sad thing is, it's because people have lost their livelihoods, and
Yes.
that is heartbreaking. It just kills me. Seeing a lot of friends struggle and close out some businesses. And on the other side of that, there's the blessing that it's space for us.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also good to replace it with another something that's putting out a quality product, right? So I'd hate to see, you know, some of these kitchens just being torn down and now they're, you know, office buildings or parking lots or something, you know.
Yeah.
So it's good that you can make use of a space that's somebody else's hardship you can turn into a different story. That's good.
Yeah.
And what kind of a space are you looking for? Like somewhere that's just a kitchen, you'll continue. And I need to know, like, what do you sell now? Is it still all just pies? I mean, please tell me the food truck has something else.
Oh gosh, yes. Actually,
I mean, I like a couple of pies, but not very many of them. And so I really hope I get to eat some of your other food.
Absolutely. We brought Sam on last year in catering and food truck operations, and Sam's background in culinary and his passion for smoking meat
Oh yeah.
got the food truck going.
Everyone passions for smoking.
Yeah, so
I couldn't miss that one.
So Sam, like today's lunch was just, you know, just lunch. We just had some ribs today, some nice smoked ribs today.
I love ribs.
Tomorrow he's got some, you know, delicious pulled pork out, and he's got a local, all local different kinds of cheeses, macaroni and cheese. He does some really great sandwiches and other stuff on the truck. So there's some really good stuff there. Definitely not to be missed.
Cool. I'm gonna go and look at your site and find out where you guys are at so I can check out some of this stuff.
Yes.
So I guess what you guys are looking at now is maybe having like a brick and mortar setup then, maybe, right?
Yeah, that's really what we need. Today I asked the team, so what would make you feel valued as a staff member this year? You know, because there's all the classic stuff that we expect, you know, like, you know, a raise. That's a nice thing. And of course that came up, raises, you know, economic compensation is a nice way to feel validated. But they also responded with a home and a place for which they could settle down and call.
Put down roots.
Yeah. They said that would make them feel very valued. And I thought, oh, that's what I'm trying for.
Yeah.
And
so when you're not constantly looking for the next spot or crashing on, you know, the couch on the couch, all of that energy can go to even more of the Flourish mission statement, right?
It does. And you're exactly it. We can fulfill our mission and vision on a much deeper and broader level once we've got some roots. And that's about, you know, having a home and identity. And that's what everyone is looking for in life, really. Their people, their home, their tribe, their identity, their family. And that's really what Flourish functions like. It's a great family.
Where do you want to see Flourish go from here?
I want to see it live long into the future and see some of
Which it will.
Yeah, I want to see our graduates take over so that the big hope that I have for the long-term vision is that it is run by, managed by, and the vision is cast by those who have come through the program or are living in recovery. And they're the leaders. They're the ones. It's just my job to provide the container and the plant, you know, and start the plant off. But that it's their job to cultivate and carry it forward into a long-term future, to pass it on, to turn it over. That's my personal long-term goal. And so we spend a lot of time creating opportunities for leadership growth and development, and deeper management skills growth and development, because someday I want to be able to, I want to be able to retire someday. Don't know if I'll be able to afford to, but I'd like to.
Right.
But I'd like
Well,
to.
they say the Social Security will be gone by the time that, you're older.
Right. Damn it.
But it won't.
But that's my hope. My hope is to see that that those who fill the positions with the biggest shoes have the life transformation experience that the program has to offer, and that they own that and carry it forward and grow that and make it evolve, make it something bigger and better.
Is
So-
it going to have more food trucks and like
No.
more brick and mortars or like restaurants or anything? Like, what's it going to grow into? How, like, as it grows, what do you want to see it grow into?
Really, you could do, Flourish SLC is one, but I mean, every major city could use something like this, right?
Yeah.
There's so many prison populations that could do something like that.
Get rural areas you use places like this that they could stay alive in rural areas. My heavens.
Yeah. So really, like, you guys have so much growth potential that
We
I
do.
mean, if you really think about it.
Limitless.
Yeah.
Limitless growth. I mean, just right now, a storefront would be awesome. Some place where people could come in and order a sandwich and a pastry, coffee, baked good, their Thanksgiving pie, pick it up and take it home. Because a lot of what we do is about connection. It's about bringing people together from seemingly dissimilar populations. People who think they have nothing in common and there's no way they'd ever talk to that person or ever come across that person. That person is the other, and God forbid we cross paths.
Right.
But the minute you meet someone who you think is so different than yourself, you go, oh shit, they're telling my story.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about things that I struggle with. They're talking about the feelings and stuff that I wasn't allowed to say or talk about. And we become friends. And when we become friends, then the stereotypes fall away. And when those fall away, we treat people differently. And we can transform culture and society. It's slow, it's organic, and it's for somebody who really likes to get shit done fast. It takes a lot of patience on my part. But long term, it has great opportunities to make massive transformation in the lives of not only individuals who come from backgrounds of substance use and incarceration, but everyone's life can be transformed if we can come into contact with each other and just share story and see ourselves in one another. And that's why we need outlet space where we can interact with people. You can't do that when you're behind closed doors or locked away. And so it's really about creating that interactive space, that retail storefront space, that food truck, because then individuals get a chance to find out that the other person's not what they thought that they were.
Right.
When the community gets an opportunity to see that all the people who work for you and intern for you are not who they thought they were.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, these people are hardworking. Oh, they're doing this great thing for this organization. They're not back on the street. They're not contributing to crime. They're actually contributing to this higher level mission. That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us,
you guys need a reality show.
Yeah, you do.
We've talked about that, but some of the things that we say in kitchens, I'm not positive you can put on the air. So.
Put it on Showtime or something.
Right? Put it on cable.
Yeah, put
Adult
on
TV.
Yeah.
Put on HBO. It'll be fun.
And plus, they can just bleep it out. I get bleeped out of things all over the place. It's fine.
She
Bleep
gets
it
bleeped
out.
out
Just being a
first.
big bleep.
I'm like,
Right?
no.
I sometimes do myself too. I'll say what the, and then I don't say the F word, but I say it inside my mind, so I feel like I said it. But then it was like blank for other people.
Good job.
Sometimes what we got to do. I know, right? I'm really growing and changing. Growth never ends. It never
Doesn't.
ends.
It never does. Never does.
Well, Aimee, I am so grateful that you came on the podcast today and shared about Flourish Bakery. I love your heart so much, and I love the mission of Flourish, and I love the impact you're making in the community and with people. that I love, and I can't wait to see like how far it goes, how many people it helps.
Yeah, this story's awesome, and I hope that, you know, in a few years maybe we see some like a Flourish LA or a, you know, Flourish New York or something like that.
And a Flourish
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah, that a Flourish restaurant.
I'm rooting for a full-on restaurant.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you're going to come and you're going to teach server training, right?
I sure will. Not only
that's
that, but every time
That's
I come
right,
to
you gotta
eat,
put
I
her-
will be your best customer. Ask
put her-
anybody who goes out to eat with me. My checks are the biggest checks of anybody. That's just from all the food I eat.
Yeah,
Well-
you're gonna be proud on it. It's waitress off.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna totally train your waitresses. They'll be the best ever. Your servers, they'll be the best ever. And I will come spend money in your restaurant. I love food. There's the bakery open right now. I'd head there.
We
Where's
look
the
forward
truck?
to it.
Say?
It's online.
I'm gonna look
Flourish.
up.
Oh, do you
Tell
want to know where
everybody.
do you want to know where the truck is?
Yeah.
You just need to go to flourishslc.org.
Boom. And that's where people find their application if they want to apply to be an intern or work for you or whatever.
Yep.
How many
Yep.
intern positions do you currently have?
We actually have one open that we're interviewing for right now. And then as soon as we're able to move into another facility, we should have several more positions open is the idea.
Okay, people.
So keep connected, keep
Game on.
watching.
Right.
We're on
Keep
social
watching.
media. Flourish is on Facebook and Instagram. And the truck has always got, you know, pictures of the food and our dudes out in the community. So you can always find us via our social media.
Nice.
That's so awesome. Aimee, huge hugs, virtually corona-free hugs from far away. When I get to see you again, I will hug you.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
Well, and I thank you again for coming on the show, and we'll put all the links to everything down below when we post all this stuff. I'm not the one who posts it. I'm technologically challenged, but you know, all the clever things people say that have a podcast, that applies here. I just don't know them. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time on Therapeutic Madness. Stay mad, my friends.